Okay, so we will go to the third module, which is nothing but satellite communication system. So, what do you mean by satellite? The term satellite refers to a smaller object that revolve around a much larger object or much larger body in space in a fixed or defined path. Satellite എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു സ്മോളർ ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ് ആണ് that revolve around much larger body അല്ലെങ്കിൽ larger object in space in a fixed path or defined path. Basically, there are two types of satellite. Natural satellite and artificial satellite. Natural satellites എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താ? മീൻസ് ഏതൊക്കെയാ നാച്ചുറൽ സാറ്റലൈറ്റ്സ്? ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ, നമ്മളെ എർത്ത് ഒരു നാച്ചുറൽ സാറ്റലൈറ്റ്സ് ആണ്. ആസ് പെർ ദ ഡെഫിനിഷൻ, എർത്ത് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു സ്മോളർ ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ് ആണ് കമ്പയർഡ് ടു സൺ. സൺ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു ലാർജർ ബോഡി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ലാർജർ ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ് ആണ്. സോ ദിസ് എർത്ത് റിവോൾവ് അറൌണ്ട് ദ സൺ. This earth revolve around the sun in an elliptical path, that is at a fixed path in space. So earth എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു നാച്ചുറൽ സാറ്റലൈറ്റ് ആണ്. ആൻഡ് മൂൺ, a moon that revolves around the earth. Compared to earth, moon എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു സ്മോളർ ബോഡി ആണ്, സ്മോളർ ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ് ആണ്. Then the moon revolve around the earth in an elliptical path, that is a fixed path in the space. So earth and moon are some two examples of natural satellite. And going on to the artificial satellite, this artificial satellite it's specifically designed for some functions. Designed and it is launched for some specific function. The artificial satellite, in the name itself, we can see it's man-made satellite ആണ്, and it is designed and launched for some specific function like weather forecasting, or weather monitoring, navigation, it is TV navigation, planetary research or planetary activities, and for mobile communication, etc. And some of the artificial satellites are INSAT, IRS, GSAT, etc. So, a satellite, the term can be defined as a satellite is a smaller object that revolve around a much larger body in space in a fixed or defined path. And there are two types of satellite, or satellite can be categorized into two: natural satellite. Examples of natural satellite are Earth, Moon, and artificial satellite. And this artificial satellite is designed and launched for a specific function, and the specific function include like weather forecasting or weather monitoring, navigation and planetary activities or planetary research, mobile application, such as mobile communication, etc. And some of the artificial satellites are INSAT, IRS, and GSAT, etc. So, basically, the satellite communication system consists of an Earth station and followed by satellite and terrestrial network. This Earth station is nothing but the main center for transmitting or for transmission and reception of signal. It's the main center where transmission and reception of signal happens, and a satellite in space. And next is the terrestrial network or terrestrial system. This terrestrial system, what it do is, it route the signal from various devices. To the satellite through the Earth station. A terrestrial network, what it do is, it route the signal from various devices like mobile phone, telephone, etc. Either it route the signal from these devices to satellite. Each satellite like the devices in the signal the route team through the Earth station. Earth station that there will be a transmitting antenna. And here we have the satellite. And here we will have a receiving antenna. So, a terrestrial network or terrestrial system, what it do is, it route the signal from various devices such as users to the satellite through this Earth station. Through this Earth station, here in Earth station there will be a transmitting antenna and receiving antenna placed on the Earth. So, this is the simple block diagram of a satellite communication system. Here, the network is linked to the satellite through the Earth station. Within the user network is linked to the satellite through this Earth station. And Earth station through network data network signal satellite satellite signal network virunadu. And we here the signal is transmitted to satellite or given to satellite through uplink, and from the satellite the signal is given to the receiving station or receiving Earth station via downlink. So the basic elements in the satellite communication are Earth station, a satellite, and a terrestrial network. So, satellite is nothing but an essential part of telecommunication system. And carry large amount of data telephone signal, telephone traffic, television signals, etc. And the satellite links are used by many users who are geographically separated, and that is worldwide the satellite link can be used. Many users who are geographically separated, and this one of the feature of this satellite system is that cost is distance insensitive. Here it means that the cost about the same to provide a satellite communication link over a short distance is same as long distance. That is the cost for short distance. That is the satellite link cost for a short distance and long distance. The cost is same. So this is one of the feature of satellite communication. So satellites is an essential part of telecommunication, and it provides large amount of data and telephone traffic, TV signal, etc. And in satellite link are used by many users who are geographically separated in the earth, and the cost is insensitive. That is, cost is distance insensitive, means that for shorter distance or longer distance, cost is same. Cost does not varies depending upon board clear ആണോ? Okay. So this is an essential part of telecommunication system, and it carry large amount of data, telephone traffic, and TV signal, etc. And satellite links are used by many users who are geographically separated on the Earth's surface. And it is a cost distance insensitive in the sense that for shorter distance and longer distance, the satellite link cost is same. It does not varies with the distance. So satellite, as the term refers, satellite is a small object that revolves around a much larger object in space in a well-defined path. And now we will discuss about the frequency allocation. For satellite. Services. And this frequency allocation for satellite services, this frequency allocation is much complicated process. It's a complicated process which require international coordination and planning. That is, this frequency allocation require international coordination and it require much planning. And it is carried out under the International Telecommunication Union, that is ITU. This frequency allocation is carried by International Telecommunication Union. as it is a complex process, and to facilitate the frequency planning, the world is divided into 3 regions. So frequency allocation depends upon this 3 regions. We have divided the world into 3 regions. First, region 1 consists of Europe, Africa, and Mongolia. And region 2 covers North and South America and Greenland. And region 3 covers the Asia. Excluding that region 1, that is the region in Europe, Africa, and Mongolia, it covers Asia, Australia, and Southwest Pacific. So the frequency allocation depend upon these 3 regions, and the world is divided into 3 regions: region 1, region 2, and region 3. So the region 1 include or covers the countries like Europe, Africa, or Mongolia, and region 2 covers North and South America and Greenland, and region 3 covers the continent Asia, Australia, Southwest Pacific, etc. So within these 3 regions, the frequency band are allocated to various satellite services. Within these 3 bands, the frequency band are allocated to various satellite services, and a given services may be allocated with a different frequency band in different region. Some of the services provided by the satellites are this region satellite provide some of the services we will list out now. That is fixed satellite service, that is FSS, and next is broadcasting satellite service, BSS, and third one is mobile satellite service, fourth navigation, and fifth meteorological satellite service. So some of the satellite service provided in this 3 region by the satellites are fixed satellite service, which is FSS, broadcasting satellite service, BSS, mobile service, navigation service, and meteorological satellite service. This is about the satellite communication system and the frequency allocation for satellite services. And we have mentioned about 2 links, that is uplink and downlink. Uplink means the frequency with which the Earth station communicate with satellite. Same, uplink and downlink are the frequency with which the Earth station communicates to the satellite, and satellite communicate to the Earth station. So the Earth station satellite to the Earth station, the distance between the Earth station and satellites is much larger, thousands of kilometers. So Earth station the signal satellite the signal strength so the first operation what is done in satellite is amplification, that is and after amplification satellite do the processing, and the signal is retransmitted to the receiving station, receiving earth station via downlink. ഈ യൂസേഴ്സിന് വരുന്ന സിഗ്നൽ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ത്രൂ ദ ടെറസ്ട്രിയൽ നെറ്റ്വർക്ക് അതായത് യൂസേഴ്സിന് വരുന്ന സിഗ്നലിന് എർത്ത് സ്റ്റേഷൻ ഫസ്റ്റ് എന്ത് ചെയ്യും സാറ്റലൈറ്റിലേക്ക് ട്രാൻസ്മിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സാറ്റലൈറ്റിലേക്ക് സെൻഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് എർത്ത് സ്റ്റേഷൻ ഫസ്റ്റ് മോഡുലേറ്റ് ദ സിഗ്നൽ and sends the satellite and sends it to the satellite through the uplink, and satellite what it do is it first amplifies the signal and processes the signal and sends the output or and sends the signal to the receiving earth station via downlink, and in the here in the receiving station it demodulate the signal. First it's amplify the signal, demodulate the signal, and it is given to the users. ഇതാണ് ഒരു സാറ്റലൈറ്റ് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ സിസ്റ്റത്തിൽ നടക്കുന്ന ഒരു ബേസിക് ബ്ലോക്ക് ഡയഗ്രാം. അതിന്റെ ഓപ്പറേഷൻ ഫസ്റ്റ് യൂസർ ഒരു സിഗ്നൽ സെൻഡ് ചെയ്യും, ആ സിഗ്നൽ എർത്ത് സ്റ്റേഷൻ പറഞ്ഞത് ആംപ്ലിഫൈ ചെയ്തിട്ട് അപ്ലിങ്ക് വഴി സാറ്റലൈറ്റിലേക്ക് അയക്കും. സാറ്റലൈറ്റിലേക്ക് അവിടെ ഫസ്റ്റ് പ്രോസസ് ആംപ്ലിഫിക്കേഷൻ നടക്കും, നെക്സ്റ്റ് അതിന്റെ പ്രോസസ്സിംഗ് നടക്കും. അതിന്റെ ഔട്ട്പുട്ട് ഒരു റിസീവിംഗ് എർത്ത് സ്റ്റേഷനിൽ വയ ഡൗൺലിങ്ക് ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് ഗിവൺ, ആൻഡ് ദ റിസീവിംഗ് സ്റ്റേഷൻ ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് ഡിമോഡുലേറ്റഡ്, ആംപ്ലിഫൈഡ് ആൻഡ് ഗിവൺ ടു ദ യൂസേഴ്സ്. And this uplink and downlink frequency band, the uplink and downlink use the frequency band like C, Ka and Ku, and CA or C band is mostly used for common communication, that is basic communication purpose like TV, mobile phone, etc. So among these three bands, C band is used for basic communication like TV, mobile phone, etc. And Ka and Ku band, this is used for only for important purpose like military purpose, for security, weather monitoring, etc. So uplink and downlink uses the frequency band, and it uses three types of frequency band, that is C, Ka and Ku. Among these three band, C band is used for basic communication like TV and mobile, and Ka and Ku are used for most important purposes like military purpose and weather monitoring, etc. And for C band, downlink range, uplink range. For C band, the downlink range is 3700 to 4200 megahertz, and uplink range is megahertz. And for Ku band, the downlink range is 11.7 to 12.2 gigahertz, and uplink range is 14.0 to 14.5 gigahertz. And for Ka band, 17.7 to 21.2 gigahertz. And for uplink, so this Ku and Ka band, the frequency range or the range is range for uplink and downlink is in gigahertz, and for the C band which is used for common communication purpose, it is in megahertz. This is the frequency of downlink and uplink range. Now we will move on to the next topic, that is Kepler's law. We have studied about the Kepler's law of planetary motion in +2 physics. So the same thing is for the satellite also. Here, as we have studied with respect to Earth and Sun, the same Kepler's law is also for the satellite and Earth. So basically the Kepler's laws are applied or applicable generally to any bodies in space which interact through gravitation. That is, this Kepler's law is applicable to any two bodies in the sense that satellite and Earth. In planetary motion, it is Earth and Sun. So Kepler's law is applicable to any two bodies in space which interact through gravitation. The Earth and Sun interact through gravitation, and here in the satellite system or in the satellite in the space, the satellite and Earth interact through the gravitation. So this Kepler's law is applicable to any two bodies in space. Any two bodies in space that interact through gravitation. So Kepler's law applicable to any bodies that interact to or that interact through gravitation. Here, the more massive body is known as primary and the other is known as satellite. In the satellite system, the primary is our Earth and secondary, which is our satellite. So the more massive or much larger body is known as primary and the other is known as secondary. In this case, the primary is our Earth and the secondary is our satellite. So we will move on to Kepler have defined 3 laws and we will move on to the first law. So the basic thing we have to remember is that Kepler's law is applicable only to two bodies in space which interact through gravitation, and the more massive body is known as primary and the other is known as secondary. In our case, our primary is our Earth and the secondary is our satellite. So going on to the Kepler's first law. Kepler's first law states that path followed by a satellite around the primary will be an ellipse. It's a simple law, that is path, this is our Earth. So the path followed by the satellite around the primary, that is path followed by the satellite, which is the secondary, around the primary, which is the Earth, is always will be an ellipse. So first law is nothing but path followed by the secondary, that is the satellite. Secondary here means satellite. Around the primary, that is around the primary here is the Earth. Around the Earth will be an ellipse. Here, the center of mass is known as of the two bodies. So the satellite and Earth in center of mass barycenter. It's termed as barycenter. And this barycenter will be always on one of the foci. As we know, ellipse has two foci, F1, F2. When we are referring to this is one of the focus. And when we are referring to both, we say foci. So this ellipse has two foci, F1 and F2. So the center of mass of this, any of this will be, that is center of mass of the Earth will be at one of the foci. Either it can be here or it can be here. So the center of mass of the Earth or the satellite will be at one of the two foci. ഈ രണ്ട് ഫോക്കയിലെ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു ഫോക്കയിലായിരിക്കും ഈ പ്രൈമറിന്റെ സെന്റർ ഓഫ് മാസ് ഉള്ളത്. In our case, because of enormous difference between the masses of Earth and satellite, the center of mass coincide with the center of Earth. And the eccentricity and semi-major axis are the two orbital parameters specified for satellite orbiting the Earth. And eccentricity, semi-major axis means here, this is our semi-major, this is our major axis and this is our minor axis. This is the major axis and this is our minor axis, and this is our semi-major axis and this part is our semi-minor axis. And the eccentricity is given by, here this major axis can be denoted by 2a and minor axis 2b. So semi-major axis means this part, that is here a, b, b. This is our major axis which is 2a. This is our minor axis which is 2b. So semi-major axis means a and semi-minor axis means b. So eccentricity is nothing but it is given by root of a square minus b square by a. For an elliptical orbit, this eccentricity should be between 0 and 1, and when equal to 0, when eccentricity become equal to 0, the orbit becomes circular. When this eccentricity is 0, the orbit becomes circular orbit. This is about Kepler's first law. And Kepler's second law states that this is our Earth which is centered on one of the foci, and let our satellite be here at S1, and the satellite move the time interval t0 from here to here. It sweeps the area of this much, and when the satellite is now here at S2 and it moves the same t0 and it sweeps out the area this much. So second law is simple. It says that for an equal time interval, the satellite sweep equal area. This area and this area are equal. That is, Kepler's second law states that for equal time interval, here time interval is 0. First satellite position is S1, second satellite position is S2. So for equal time interval T0, the satellite will sweep out equal area in its orbital plane focused at the Barry center. So it's simple. For equal time interval, that is here T0 is the time interval, here also T0 is the time interval. This is the first satellite position, and when the satellite moves to S2, this is the second satellite position. So at equal time interval, the satellite sweeps out equal area. This area and this area are equal in the orbital plane when it is centered around the Barry center. This is Kepler's second law. Here we can assume that the satellite travel a distance S1 and S2 meters in 1 second. Then the area will be A1 and A2. When T0, that is first duration, is equal to second duration, then area, that is the area which the satellite sweep out, A1 should be equal to A2. The average velocity in each case S1 and S2 are in meter per second. And because of equal area law, it follows that velocity at S2 is less than velocity on S1. And this is about the Kepler's second law. അതായത് ഒരു സാറ്റലൈറ്റ് T0 എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു ടൈം ഇന്റർവെല്ലിൽ ഇത്ര ഡ്യൂറേഷനിൽ ട്രാവൽ ചെയ്താൽ അതേ ഡ്യൂറേഷനിൽ സെക്കൻഡ് പൊസിഷനിൽ ട്രാവൽ ചെയ്താൽ അത് ഈക്വൽ ഏരിയ ആണ് സീപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യുക. ദിസ് ഏരിയ ആൻഡ് ദിസ് ഏരിയ ഈക്വൽ. if the time interval t0 are equal. ഇതാണ് Kepler's second law. And now we'll move on to the Kepler's third law. Here Kepler's third law states that we know that this is our major axis, this is our minor axis, and Kepler's third law states that the square of time period of orbit is proportional to cube of mean distance between the two body. ഈ time period means ഈ സാറ്റലൈറ്റ് ഈ ഒരു പൊസിഷനിൽ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്ത റൊട്ടേറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് അതേ പൊസിഷനിലേക്ക് വരാനുള്ള ടൈം, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് നോൺ ആസ് ടൈം പീരിയഡ് ഓർ പീരിയോഡിക് ടൈം ഓഫ് എ സാറ്റലൈറ്റ്. സോ Kepler's third law പറയുന്നത് the square of periodic time, that is if time period, that is for one revolution time period is t ആണെങ്കിൽ the square of time period is proportional to the cube of mean distance between any two body. So the mean distance between any two body എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ which is our minor axis. So the mean distance is equal to semi-major axis A. That is ഒരു സാറ്റലൈറ്റ് ഈ ഒരു പൊസിഷനിൽ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്ത ഒരു വൺ റെവല്യൂഷൻ കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനാണ് നമ്മൾ പീരിയോഡിക് ടൈം എന്നല്ല ടൈം പീരീഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇൻ കേസ് ഓഫ് സാറ്റലൈറ്റ്. സോ ദ സ്ക്വയർ ഓഫ് ടൈം പീരീഡ് ഈസ് പ്രൊപ്പോർഷണൽ ടു ദ മീൻ ഡിസ്റ്റൻസ് ബിറ്റ്വീൻ എനി ടു ബോഡി. ഹിയർ ദ മീൻ ഡിസ്റ്റൻസ് ഈസ് ദ semi-major axis. Semi-major axis is nothing but A. So cube of mean distance. So cube of semi-major axis. Mean distance between any two bodies. So mean distance is nothing but semi-major axis, which is nothing but semi-major axis in the cube, which is nothing but A cube. So t square, which is the periodic time, is proportional to A cube. This is the Kepler's third law. And here it can be also represented as t square is equal to 4 pi square by mu into A cube. Here mu is the Kepler constant and A is the semi-major axis. And the value of mu is 3.986005 into 10 raised to 14 meter cube per second square. And the third law states that third law shows that there is a fixed relationship between period and semi-major axis. So third law states that or shows that there is a fixed relationship between time period and semi-major axis. This is the relation, that is t square proportional to A cube. ഇതാണ് കെപ്ലേഴ്സിന്റെ 3 laws of planetary motion കൺസിഡർ ചെയ്യുന്നതിൽ ഉള്ളത്. And orbital period P is given by 2 pi by n ആണ്. And A cube is also equal to mu by n square, where n എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ mean motion of the satellite ആണ്. So the orbital period is given by 2 pi by n. N എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ mean motion of the satellite ആണ്. Then A cube, which is semi-major axis, and it is given by mu, which is Kepler's constant, divided by this n square. N square, as we have mentioned, is the mean motion of the satellite. So from here we can understand that n is nothing but p by 2 pi. N is nothing but 2 pi by p. And